Just before we start, let's see, let's first see who is the owner of the secret and who are the approver of the access request and who is actually requesting the access for that particular secret on which we are testing for our access request workflow. Now that you have understood like who is the approver, who is the owner, and to whom the secret is being shared, let's log into our secret server to see how to set up a single level as well as multi-level workflow. Now we are going to log in with the user who is also the secret owner of and who is also the owner of the secret which we are going to share with another user. So now once we log in from the owner account, let's see which secret we want to set up workflow on. So we want to set up workflow on this secret, and first we'll see if this secret is shared with the user. Okay, so this secret is being shared to the user Julie, and let's see how to add user and how to share the secret with the user once again. So if you click on the secret, there is the sharing tab. Once you click on edit, you need to disinherit the permission from folder, and you click on add. Now you will see on to which user you want to share this particular secret to. I want to share this secret to Julie. Okay, so I'll just select Julie and add her to the sharing list. I'll just click on save. Now this secret has been shared with the user Julie. Now we need to set up workflow so that before Julie is allowed to access this secret, she will first need to have approval to access this secret. Now then, so to create access request approval, first we need to go to security tab of that particular secret, and here is the approval settings. Now I click on edit. Now we see we need the secret to require approval prior to any prior to giving access to any other user. So we'll select from three different options. So standard, as the so you can read like what this option suggests. So standard is editor and approver do not need approval. So whichever user uh, to which this particular secret is shared, if that user has editor access, and or if that user is in the approver list, then they will not need to have approval before accessing this secret. Now second is standard including editors. So owners and approver will not require approval to access that secret, and in the end we have everyone. So including owners as well as approvers will require prior approval before accessing this particular secret. Now we'll just select standard including editors. Okay, and what type of approval workflow? First we'll see how to create a single level workflow. Okay, so we'll just select create a basic single level workflow. Here we will add the user, those user who we want to act as the approver. So we'll select Rick, and we'll also select Morty. Okay, so both of these user have been added as approvers. Now, now we have added two approvers. Now, how does this work? Okay, so how does this work is either of these users can approve the request, and Julie will be able to access this particular secret. So we do not need both of the users to provide approval in order for Julie to access this secret. Either of these users can approve the request, and then Julie will be able to access this secret. And we'll just click on save. Now, and one more thing. So you see there is standard including editor. So owner and if someone has owner permission or which role. So these are the owner roles. So roles we can define here in the sharing. If you see here, there are different roles. So owner permission, that is edit permission, view permission, and list permissions. Okay. So Julie only have a view role. Okay. So she will require prior approval before accessing this secret. Now, let's log in to Julie's account and try to access this secret. Okay, so this is ULIE and okay. Now, this is the secret which is which we just set up the single level workflow, approval workflow too. So let's click on this secret. Now you see this secret access require prior approval. You must have so it says in order to view the secret, you must have approval to access it. Request access by clicking the request access below. So we'll click on request access. Now once we click on request access, we can select the duration for which what duration we want access for this particular secret. I'll just select 30 minutes. And why are you requesting access to this particular secret? So let's say I will require for security checkup. Okay, and I'll just hit submit request. Okay, now my request has been sent. Now we can we need to log in from any of the now what we need to do is wait for the approver to approve this request. Now we know. Now let's see how to approve the request. So we'll log in using Rick's account. Now, where do we see that particular approval request? So that approval request has been sent in my inbox. So I see, okay, there is one secret access request that is pending with me, and the duration Julie has asked for that particular secret is 30 minutes. Okay, and these are the other details, and the reason for her request is secret checkup. Now I can approve the request and deny the request and also provide a reason. So as I told you, there are two approvers that we assign to that particular secret, that is Rick or Morty. So either of these, Rick or Morty, can approve this request and this request will be approved for Julie. Both the approval does not require both of them to approve the request before Julie can access this secret. So I'll just click on approve, and once I go and see once I now I am logged in as Julie. So once I refresh, now you can see I am able to access this particular secret, and it is also showing the time I have left to check the secret out. Okay, now I only have view access for this secret, so I cannot change different these settings. Now I can also file a request to extend this approval. Now let's log out and let's go back to our administrator, and let's now we'll see how to set up a multi-level or multi-step workflow. Now we are logged in as administrator. Okay, and in this secret, let's create a multi-level workflow. Okay, multi-level access request workflow. Okay, so let's say we need to add a multi-level workflow. See, first we need to design or create a new workflow so that we can add it here. So once we have a workflow, it will show here, and then we'll be able to add it directly here. Now, to create a multi-level or multi-step workflow, we need to go to administration. Then we need to go to workflow, which is under the core actions, or we can just type here workflows. And now first we will hit on create workflow. We'll give this a name. This is to DC access workflow. This workflow is for domain controller, and since we are creating this particular workflow for access request, then we'll select access request workflow. We'll click on create workflow. Now in this workflow we can have multiple steps of workflow. That means like we can have multiple steps with different approvers, so that in each step different approval we require approval from different approvers. Let's say we have three people or four people. Okay, so in first step we can have one person out of those four, one person approve the step one. Then we can move on to second step in which we require approval from another person. Now let's see how to create a multi-level workflow. So there are different steps we can add. Okay, so this is first step. We will add in first step, we'll require approval from Rick. So we'll first search for Rick and click on Rick. So for this step, we require approval from Rick only and number of approver. So we'll only add one. And if this particular request is approved, then we will advance to next step. We'll add a step, and now in step 2, we will add another approver, that is Morty. Yeah. And if Morty approves the request, then approve this particular step. Now we can add many more multiple steps. We can have like at most we can have 15 approval steps for workflow, and last workflow cannot be timed out. For example, let's say this step. So let's say this Julie asked for access to this particular secret on which this particular workflow is assigned. So let's say after 10 minutes, we can set up this step to timeout. So after 10 minutes, this step will directly advance to next step without the requirement of Rick's approval. So even if Rick approve, even if does not approve, this step will directly move on to next step. Okay, so we can set up time in minute. Let's say after 10 minutes, if Rick doesn't approve and respond to that particular request, this step will be eliminated and moved on to second step. Now we can have at most 15 steps, and as you can see, last step cannot be timed out. So last step need to be uh, approved or denied. Okay, we have added both of them. So we require two approval for this. Now let's click on active and we'll just save this. We can see we have a workflow, DC access workflow, type access request, and this is in active stage. Now we'll go back to our secret, DC New York, and we'll go to security and apply that workflow that we just created to this particular secret. So we will select second, and we will select DC access workflow. Now we will click on save. Okay. Now let's log out from this. And now let's log in as Julie. On save and we'll select our secret. Okay, now this secret access required. We'll click on request access again. Let's say 30 minutes. Okay, reason for request regular security checkup. Now we'll click on submit request. Okay, this request was sent. Okay, let's see. Okay, now in this, let's log in with Morty. Okay. Now, as you can see, we haven't received any request since we, in first step, the access request goes to Rick. Now let's log in as Rick. Okay. So if we go to inbox in Rick's inbox, we see pending approval on step one. So let's see. Now you see status is pending one more approval, and this is our first step of this workflow. So let's approve this request by Rick. And once we approve it, the next step it will be moved to Morty. So let's see once we hit approval. Okay, now it's approved. And if we go to inbox in Morty's secret server, we'll see this now a new access request has been popped up here. Okay, now we'll click on this request. Now this has moved to step two. This is last approval and regular security checkup. Okay, and I will add approved by Morty. And once I hit approve, Julie here, she'll be able to access this particular secret. And I hit on approve. And as you can see, now the access has been granted for that particular secret to Julie. Now, if you are the owner of this secret, you can see who has accessed this secret, who has approved the request. So for that, you need to log in with the owner account. So the owner of this secret is administrator. Let's log in with admin account to see. Okay, we'll move to our secret. We'll go to audit, and here we can see who has approved the request, who got the request. So see, first access approved. Now this is second, approved by Morty, and here you can see approved by Rick. These are the notes, and this is Julie, and you can also see what Julie put in the notes or in the reason for accessing regular security checkup. Okay, and this is now being accessed. Who accessed this at what time? You can. That is how you create a single level as well as multi-level workflows. Now, so let's recall. You see number of steps are 2 here, so we can have maximum 50 number of approval steps. Last step cannot be timed out, and denying, or like if someone cancels a request, let's say Rick denied the request on step 1 itself, then it will not be moved to second step. The request once denied on a lower step, this whole like workflow terminates and the access request gets denied. Now these workflow, why are these helpful is they help create a sense of accountability. So let's say there is like a person who is trying to access this secret. Okay, they had to put a reason. So they will try to access that only if they have a valid reason, or the approver will also know like if that particular person have a valid reason to access that particular secret or not. And also involvement of multiple users in a critical task. It prevents abuse of privileges. It kinds of segregates the duties actually, so so that a single person does not have access to all these things, and it requires certain level of work for that particular person to access that particular secret. Now, I'm not saying you had access workflows on each of the secret, but let's say there is critical infrastructure, let's say domain controllers, you can have those on those secrets. All the request approvals, denials, these all of these are fully audited for reporting as well as compliance purposes.